Muchachos, muchachas, welcome to another Nightly with Natly. If you guys saw or caught this by my post share on my main channel, Natly Denise, this is where I'm going to go live from now on. So if you're interested in this stream, this podcast, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel. This is where I'm just going to keep it separated from now on. I'm going to do the podcast streams directly on the channel that I used to just rehome it from. So if you're interested in the podcast, please do subscribe to this channel. Anyway, guys, what's going on? Okay, so today I had an extremely busy day. Rocky was actually part of it. Who is my mod, we were planning a lot of counter trafficking alliance planning in the background, a lot of fleshing out of our plans and how we're going to approach the volunteers and all these things. So everything is looking really, really good. I'm super duper excited for what's to come. Hey, welcome everybody who is joining right now. I just got an emergency alert system and it really freaked me out. I don't know about you guys. This is like a slight confession. I am terrified of the emergency alert system. I hate the way it sounds. It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. So anyway, what went on? Oh my gosh, so much went on over the weekend. I believe this actually happened on Sunday. So I'm going to start out with the whole debacle on Kanye and with Marilyn Manson and Justin Bieber. A lot of people didn't like that. So let's start off. Sunday, we get this news. About Kanye holding the Sunday service, and he invited Marilyn Manson and Justin Bieber, and there were so many mixed reactions to this news, and I was really, I don't know, taken back, I guess, because I didn't know, I didn't really know what to expect from all this, but the way that people reacted, I think I had a more, I don't know, like, I guess I had a more emotion, or I don't know if I can call it emotion, but basically I had a reaction to people's reactions. So if those of you who didn't know, Kanye West, he has like these, he has these like Sunday services, and now I know people's reluctancy to Kanye because he has proclaimed to be this Christian and that he's repented and coming back and all this and that. But then he does other collaborations like producing Lil Nas X type of, music. And, a lot of people are reluctant and not really, they're very weary of him is what I can say. Now he holds this Sunday service with Marilyn Manson, invited Justin Bieber, and I shared this yesterday. This was actually yesterday, and I think the internet just kind of lost it because I'll put it like this. I don't think people know how to react to this. I think we've been so maimed and we've been put through the ringer so much. We don't quite know how to react to something like this. Especially Christians who have like been through the ringer as well, and I'm feeling some sort of grace as I'm saying this. I think we've just been through a lot the past year of realizations, learning about, higher powers and the higher echelons of the elite who, we'll just say they just control a lot, right? Like they just do. And so I think a lot of people are weary of Hollywood and the people that come out of it. So I did one piece on this on my main channel, and basically this is what it is. I'll play a little bit of the video.
Thank you for your forgiveness. Thank you for your Holy Spirit that dwells in us. Thank you for your majesty. Thank you for the stars and the birds and the mountains and the valleys and the oceans. God, thank you for your people. Thank you for your people. Thank you that you leave the 99 for the one.
fast forward
We
it.
come against any lies of the enemy, any fear. We bind it in the name of Jesus. Your name is above it all. The name of Jesus is above it all.
So, as many of you know, I am a Christian, and I already see you guys in the chat. This is nothing new to me that people are saying, oh, Jesus Christ is a psyop. And no, he's not. He's not a psyop. I can assure you, we've all had our individual experiences to confirm internally and experientially how we have experienced this divine entity and this divine placing in our lives. And it's a very weird thing if you don't know the word, but reading the word, the spirit, and then talking directly to God, it is literally a triad thing where you do build this relationship and this knowing of who he is. So I'll just preface that I'll preface it with that. A lot of people have this false notion that, it's a psyop and they just inserted him and, he's part of the NW. No. Because actually it was the NWO was prophesied in the book. Okay. So I'm just going to put that, and I'm not going to argue with people in the comments. I'm not going to argue with people. I'm just not going to, because I know what's true, and that Jesus is true. Now let's get back to the story about Kanye and this whole thing. So people have really erupted in reaction to this because Marilyn Manson is clearly here, and I'll put a little more context. Let me see if I can bring up a screenshot. I don't know why my computer's lagging today. I think there's some memory there we go. Okay, so Marilyn Manson was there, and people are just having this really flurry of reaction. I think that's the best way to put it, because I don't think people know how to react. And this is the thing, this is what I have to say about it. And I have my own personal opinion. I have my own personal walk, and the way I have studied the word, it has taught me a lot of humility in my life. It's taught me a lot of, having a lot more grace because I make mistakes, having a lot more, reciprocity for people who may also make mistakes and may want to rationalize and reflect and maybe correct their mistakes. Maybe they've come to a point of their life where they're just tired of making mistakes or chasing the wrong things. And this actually does happen. It does happen. And my thing is, why can't this happen for Marilyn Manson? Now, I am not saying that this entire thing is real or that I believe that this whole thing is real, because I truly just don't know. That's my opinion. I just don't know if this is real or if this is mockery or if this is truly a repentance from Kanye as well as maybe Marilyn Manson. I don't. And to my point is, I don't think many people know either, because they say, yes, it is. It definitely is a mockery, but we don't know their hearts the way God would know their hearts. And we don't know, in saying that, just stay with me here, we don't know if they truly have a repentant heart or if they don't. They might not. So, that's just my thing. People are so definitive nowadays. They are so definitive to think that they know that something is, and this is just my opinion. I would hate to come across Christianity today where there is nothing but the body of Christ, and what they do is shun people and say, no, they absolutely can never be saved. It's a lost cause for them. Nope. They once belonged to this. They once belonged to this Kabbalistic type of society, and, they've partied with these types of people. They have a past, so they can never be saved. Bless me. Perfect. So, I would hate to come across the body of Christ like that. I'm going to speak out of honesty. How is it that we're called to come as we are, but when it comes to the other person, they can't come as they are either. And this is completely hypothetical right now that I'm speaking on this. This is a completely hypothetical, way of me putting it. But I just think that we need to have a lot more grace, because what if we have a big harvest with people who look like Marilyn Manson, who have come from his type of life? What if we do have a big harvest of drug users and, goths, rockers, all these people? How is it that we're going to have, if we have that type of harvest, how would we receive them? And that's like just my biggest message with this entire scenario. Again, I'm speaking in a hypothetical sense. I don't know that this is real. I don't know that this is genuine. I don't know that this is just theatrics. I don't know, because I don't. And many people don't, but they act as if they do. But, my message for the church, especially for believers who listen to me, is that we've got to have a sense of grace for people that may not look like us or who may have had a darker past, and many people say Sunday service on Halloween. Well, it is Sunday and there were church services. There was church service for many churches on Halloween. So, we may want to nail down some sort of significance, and we might want to just shun this away as like, this is completely a lost cause. This absolutely can't happen. But those are my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts on, those are my thoughts on this entire thing. And look, I bet you guys don't know this, but, John Ramirez. Do you guys know John Ramirez, the story of John Ramirez? John Ramirez is an ex-Satanist. John Ramirez was an actual high priest. Gosh, I hate that this lags. I'm going to have to fix this. I don't know why this lags, but I apologize, guys who are watching me on YouTube. John Ramirez was an ex-high priest Satanist. He was actually active in the Church of Satan. He would place hexes, spells, all these things. But go look him up. Go look up his story and go watch him. I think his testimony is on YouTube. He actually turned to Christ in all of his story, his transformational story, his experience. He actually came to Christ by the realization that he couldn't just touch Christians with curses and touch Christians with his hexes. Again, go flesh out his entire story. Go watch it for yourself, because it actually is a really transformational story. But if someone like John Ramirez, who is an ex-Satanist, not just ex-Satanist, he was apparently like an hierarchical, like he had high hierarchy in the Church of Satan. If he had an experience so radical and so humongous that he could be saved, why can't someone like Marilyn Manson? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just would hate to come across legalism as a non-believer when I really truly have a curiosity to be saved, but I just don't look like everybody else, So that's all I'm saying, that's all I'm saying. We just don't know what truly is going on. And we have got to just come at a better place of grace for people. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, pivoting on. This is coming from the National File. This story is about, well, no, I can't say that. I can't say the B word. Say it 3 times. Many of you would say that this is a type of Halloween movie. But Lori Lightfoot, Chicago judge sides with police, blocks Lori Lightfoot's juice mandate. A Cook County judge has temporarily blocked the implementation of the juice, the poke in the arm mandate against Chicago police officers until arbitration occurs with police unions. The city of Chicago, currently run by Lori Lightfoot, has implemented the cocoa juice mandate for all city employees, ensuring that all of them report their poke in the arm status by October 15th, and then have received both juice pokes by December 31st this year. Sorry, I'm really trying hard here. However, the poke in the arm mandate faced stiff resistance from the Chicago police officers, while around 7,500 officers declared that they had been fully poked in the arm. Around 1,900 instead declared that they were not, with another 3,000 refusing to report their poke in the arm status. This left the police with a 73% report rate, the lowest percentage of any section of the city employees. Now, a lot of people are actually pushing back on the poke in the arm. There are protests that are lined up every single weekend, and I would argue every single city. There was a small one in Houston that I attended over the weekend, and it was super duper small, but nonetheless, there are people out there that are willing to push back on the poke in the arm. Police unions in the city stood strong and encouraged their members to resist the poke in the arm order from Lori Lightfoot. 𝘱𝘰𝘮𝘢, the head of the largest union, said that the mandate in the city is a clear attempt to force officers to Chicken Little, the sky is falling, into compliance, telling his members not to fall for it and to hold the line. Yes. Yes. This is the lead of the largest police union saying this in Chicago. Guys, something is happening. There is hope out there, guys. There is hope out there. 𝘱𝘰𝘮𝘢 slammed the mandate as an invasion of privacy and a violation of contact, comparing the behavior of the city to Nazi Germany. I can't say that word because you guys know that many of these 𝘱𝘐𝑜 formulas catch this. He has also continued to post videos on the union's YouTube channel with similar message in defiance of a court order. On Monday, the police union saw their first victory against the city of Chicago when Judge Raymond Mitchell of Cook County ruled that the poke in the arm mandate, as currently implemented, would result in the infringement of the rights of officers as unionized employees. This is in Chicago. This is in Chicago, guys, that this is happening. Until arbitration takes place between the police and the city, I almost said it. The poke in the arm mandate cannot come into an effect, as if any arbitrator ruled against the city, an officer who was forced into taking the poke in the arm would have no recourse. An award of back pay or reinstated cannot undo the poke in the arm, Judge Mitchell argued. Nothing can. However, the unions did not receive a full victory in Mitchell's judgment, with the city's requirement to report the poke in the arm status remaining in place, describing a minimal intrusion that could be later charged under the mediation. So far, 30 police officers have been removed from their post by Chicago authorities for not reporting their poke in the arm status. All police officers who are not poked in the arm will also be required to take a 𝘥𝑗 exam twice a week. So this is one of the spookiest cities, I guess you could say, that are heavily pushing for this type of poke, this type of mandate. And the first responders are really taking a step up. And in fact, I think in New York City, they're actually doing the same thing. These first responders, nurses, everybody who has been ousted by, the mandates are actually, taking their stand and protesting out in the streets every single weekend. All right, pivoting on. This one's a little bit scary. Any listeners in the UK out there? UK listeners? UK Prince Charles calls for vast military-style campaign by elites to achieve global fundamental economic transition. What the heck does that mean? Now, we have seen this whole, globalist style call for a altar of capitalism. For instance, the Vatican, they have done this. They have restyled this entire campaign where they're trying to make this whole thing that, there should be equality in capitalism. I forget what the name is, but they're trying to make basically this Marxist-like idea that there should be an equality of outcome, and they kind of rebranded capitalism. It's weird, but the Vatican actually has a whole website on it. So this is quite strange that they're calling the military to carry out or execute this fundamental economic transition. Okay, whatever that means. Let's see what this means. The United Kingdom's Prince Charles called for a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector, using the trillions at its disposal far beyond the global GDP to fundamental economic transition during a climate change conference on Monday. Quote, "My plea today is for countries to come together and create the environment that enables every sector of industry to take an action required," Charles declared. "We know this is to take trillions, not billions of dollars. We also know that countries many of whom are burdened by growing levels of debt, simply cannot afford to go green. Here, we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector," he continued, "with trillions at its disposal far beyond the global GDP, and with the greatest respect beyond the governments of the world's leaders, it offers the only real prospect of achieving fundamental economic transition." Here are his words himself. Here we go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my plea today is for countries to come together to create the environment that enables every sector of industry to take the action required. We know this will take trillions, not billions of dollars. We also know that countries, many of whom are burdened by growing levels of debt, simply cannot afford to go green. Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector, with trillions at its disposal, far beyond global GDP, and with the greatest respect, beyond even the governments of the world's leaders. It offers the only real prospect of achieving fundamental economic transition.
I mean, if that's not scary. And of course, they've got the whole UN, backdrop to that. In June, President Joe Biden mused about the F-15 aircraft weapons on American people. And this is true. There was a lot of backlash to this. He basically had some, actually, there's a quote right here. In Wednesday's speech, Biden went on to repeatedly bungle a quote by Thomas Jefferson, who wrote, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." Biden said, "Those who say blood of liberty, the blood of patriots, all the stuff about we're going to have to move against the government. While the tree of liberty is not watered by the blood of patriots, what happens is that there never been, if you want it," this is the jumbled up lingo of Biden, so bear with me. "If you wanted to think you have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons," Biden said, going on repeat to his lie about the Second Amendment limited type of firearms could be purchased by American people. So, this isn't anything that should surprise us. The only new language to this is that they're trying to now shape this in a way where it's like, this is the economic transition and we must complete this transition. And in order to complete this transition, we need to call upon the military. So this is moving very fast. Now, the thing that I think you can take heart in, and the thing this is what gives me, when I think about this type of stuff, the thing that gives me some sort of, or some form of, observational standpoint is that they're doing this all very, very fast, very, very fast. And, this of course was planned years before this type of, these type of globalist goals, I'll call them. And it was supposed to unravel a lot longer, but there was a speed bump. Trump. They didn't expect Trump and all that, And so they have to, now that they have their Biden in office, they're really trying to unravel their long-awaited plans very, very, very fast. Now, in this process, this is the part where I'm saying you can take heart in. Many people, because this is going so fast, they're losing traction of how many people are waking up to all of this. This is happening very, very, very fast. And, I think that they're losing traction at how many people are actually waking up to all of this buffoonery. So that's what I can say. This is happening, and it's happening very fast, but a lot of people are waking up very, very fast as well and realizing what is actually at stake here. I need to get a camera for my dog so you guys can see him too. He's so cute. I'm going to do a story on this tomorrow, but Barclays CEO, he's stepping down over 𝘱𝘐𝑗𝘍, a report over his ties with 𝘱𝘐𝑗𝘍 by UK regulators. There are a lot of questions because, he has had this relationship with 𝘱𝘍𝑗𝘍 for many, many years. He says it dates back to 2015, but yet, there were some very declarative convictions on 𝘱𝘍𝑗𝘍 already. And so should he have known that? Yes. So why was he, already or still having these type of relationships and meetups with 𝘱𝘍𝑗𝘍 if there was already this dark cloud that hovered over him? So I'm going to go over that. I'm actually going to probably do this video in the morning, but I'll move on to the traffic report. And today's cast is probably going to be a little bit short, only because I got super duper busy earlier today, but I'll have a lot more time to plan a longer cast for tomorrow's. All right, this is coming from the Hindustan Times. So you guys have heard about the whole Hunger Games, not Hunger Games, Squid Games. I'm pretty sure some of you have watched Squid Games, in which I won't ruin, what I'm going to say is not going to ruin the entire series or the entire, narrative or anything. But basically, there is some form of organ harvesting in the series. There are some scenes of that. And, a lot of this is for profit. And, although Squid Games may seem like this whimsical, really dark tale of, some sick game by the elite and, very strapped by cash people. But this part is very real. There is actual organ harvesting that is happening in our modern day society, and it actually does not get reported enough. And I'm looking at these headlines every single day, and there's more, human trafsploitation, sex trafsploitation, child's trafsploitation, but there is not a lot of organ harvesting headlines because this is a black market. And I'm going to actually preface this next part with that. In every single country, there is a black market. Don't care where you're at. Before I continue on, what kind of dog? I have a pit bull. And he looks like a hippo because he's gray. So in every single, moving back to the story on organ harvesting, in every single country, there is organ harvesting. Every single country has a black market. So let me preface the story by that. And of course I have to preface it by that because this is going to be very specific to China's black market. So I've got to be on the equal playing field that every single country, every single society has a black market in which they sell. If you don't know what a black market is, they sell, the wants and the goods of exploited animals, exploited humans. And there are many items or services that they will sell from these animals or humans that are very dark and that will be bought on this black market. So with that preface, Hindustan Times reports liver on sale for $160,000. Tigger organs harvested in China's black markets. The series of human rights abuses allegedly committed by the government of China against Uyghurs and other ethnic and religious minorities in the country's Xinjiang region has once again come into spotlight. A report claimed that Beijing is making billions of dollars on the black market by forcibly harvesting organs of its vulnerable minorities, an alarming allegation that, if proved true, could expectedly lead to a call for action from the international community. Now, this is not anything that is far-fetched. Actually, I'm going to open up this statement right here because the UN actually acknowledged this themselves, okay? And if you guys know anything about me or the tone of how I say this, you know how I feel about the UN. So for the UN to come out and admit this is quite something. And this is what they had to say. I'm not going to read through all of it, but there are some very important and particular specific parts that I want you to ingest. UN human rights experts say today that they were extremely alarmed by the reports of alleged organ harvesting targeting minorities, including Falun Gong practitioners, Uyghurs, Tibetans, Muslims, and Christians in detention in China. The experts said that they received credible information that detainees from ethnic, linguistic, or religious minorities may be forcibly subjected to blood tests and organ examinations such as ultrasound and x-rays without their informed consent, while other prisoners are not required to undergo such examinations. The results of examinations are reportedly registered in a database of living organ sources that facilitates organ allocation. This is the UN admitting this, okay? Again, the United Nations is stating this very thing. Forced organ harvesting in China appears to be targeting specific ethnic, linguistic, or religious minorities held in detention, often without being explained the reasons for arrest or given arrest warrants at different locations, they said. We are deeply concerned by the reports of discriminatory treatment of the prisoners or detainees based on their ethnicity and religion or belief. According to the allegations received, the most common organs removed from the prisoners are reportedly hearts, kidneys, livers, corneas, and less commonly parts of livers. This form of trafficking with a medical nature allegedly involves health sector professionals, including surgeons, anesthetists, I think that's how you pronounce it, and other medical specialists. And so they go on with, we've previously reported this back in this year and this and that, but I just wanted to read that statement from the United Nations just to give you guys the legitimacy across the board, how much this is recognized. So, the recent report regarding the alleged Uyghur abuses was featured, according to ANI news agency, in the Herald Sun, a morning tabloid newspaper based in Australia's Melbourne. As per the agency, the report contains many gruesome details about how healthy liver fetches around $160,000 on the organ shacks of the black market, and that this trade turns out an annual turnover of at least $1 billion in US dollars for China. So it does elaborate that the UN does admit this. In its recent report, the Herald Sun Daily elaborated on the procedures, including forced organ harvesting and sterilization, that Uyghur and other minorities are allegedly subjected to in China. The hospitals that carry out the organ transplant, the report said, are reportedly found not too far away from the detention centers. It revealed that the number of performed operations in the hospitals and the short waiting list indicate that there are forced organ harvesting in a very long time on a large scale. Nearly 80,000 Uyghurs are trafficked. For those of you who don't know, trafficked is my new word that I invented. Traffickploitation. You can probably gather what that means. Uyghurs were trafficked to factories across the country between 2017 and 2019. The newspaper reported, citing a report by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, in factories far away from home, they typically live in segregated dormitories, undergo organized Mandarin and ideological training outside of working hours, are subjected to constant surveillance and are forbidden from practicing in religious observances, the ASPI reported. Citing an investigation published by the Taiwan News, the newspaper reported that the assets worth $84 billion were seized from the Uyghurs in recent years, real estate compromising majority of such assets. So let me just pause and say that there is a statistic out there about human trafsploitation that estimates that it is worth a $150 billion industry. I think that is baloney. I think that is a super stale statistic. Obviously, if China, so they say $150 billion worldwide. So if China is trafsploitating approximately $84 billion worth of organs, in humans against their will, then we are well over that mark. Would you not agree? It's way more than $150 billion. For crying out loud, in Harris County, in Houston, I'll have to go through this exercise, and I'm actually planning to speak on, human trafsploitation 101. If you're interested in hearing me speak in your own city, you guys can, I will be sharing details on how to do that or how to request that. But I am working on that educational piece because I do feel that it's important to maybe make this a little bit more refreshed and up to date, include the border, include a lot of these other things that, a lot of these human trafsploitation things that they don't talk about. But anyway, in Harris County, I think just by the spa business, we're talking illicit spa businesses, it's estimated by very minimal figures. I'm talking about the amount of women in a said place, the amount of times they're exploited in a day, the door price that they charge for these Johns to come in, all of that factored in Harris County, lowball. I'm talking about lowball. It's profiting at least $331 million a year. That's just in Harris County. In a lowball, I mean, these are minimal factors. We're not even factoring in the street prostitution. We're not factoring in the black market. Like, we're not factoring any of it. Just lowball from what we can observe. $331 million in just one county in Texas. So if in China they're making $84 billion on the black market organ harvesting, we're way over the $150 billion mark, way over that. So I just want you guys to conceptualize that this is humongous. This is an iceberg that we're facing here. So then the article, it does complete with, quotes from the UN, which we just read through. But, I wanted to bring that up to your attention that this, is definitely happening to the Uyghurs, and the Uyghurs are being trafsploited. I actually made a video on my main channel. Who is 𝘱𝑗 𝘱𝑗. He recently talked about this. He has come out and condemned. He's condemned Nike. Like, listen, we're over here fighting for this cause and that cause, and 𝘱𝑗 𝘱𝑗, who plays for the Celtics, he might be center. I don't know what his politics are or what. But he's basically saying, like, listen, you fight for all these justice causes, you support, climate change, BLM, all these things. But when are we going to talk about the real thing that we should be talking about? And that's trafsploitation in, all of this. When are we going to talk about it? Nike, when are you going to call them out? He called out LeBron James and Michael Jordan. When are we going to call this out? And that's the reality, that these Uyghurs are being trafsploited in many facets, either organ harvesting and sexual trafsploitation, many of these things. Rocky, thank you so much for that generous super chat. She says, thank you for bringing this news to light. We'll always support your heart and passion to combat this dark industry. Thank you so much for that, Rocky. I really do appreciate it. And it is a big passion of mine because it's a challenge, and it's going to take all of us to combat it. All of us. So anyway, I'm going to end with that. And, if you would like to get involved or see yourself involved in combating this travesty in our society, you can go to 𝘐𝑢ntertraffickingalliance.com, submit a volunteer form. We need all types of volunteers, and this can be remote, especially if you work in like the data industry. So if you are interested in this type of volunteership, please go to 𝘐𝑢ntertraffickingalliance.com. We're looking for researchers right now. Researchers, if you're in the U.S. or whatever area that you would like to see us combat trafficking in, trafsploitation, we need researchers, people who know how to research, know how to get on Google and connect one dot to the other. We need researchers, and there will be more information on that as time will soon transpire. I will be sending out a message to those that are willing to conduct that research, and that's going to be our first base right now. So anyway, if you're interested in helping out, 𝘐𝑢ntertraffickingalliance.com, there's a volunteer form. Also, there is a donation spot. We are needing some capital to start some events off and some education and travel. So if you're interested in that as well, you can also put it there. So anyway, guys, you all rock. Thank you so much for tuning into Nightly with Natly. Today's a little bit short, but I have a better one tomorrow, or a longer one rather. I love you guys so much. You guys have a great restful night, and I will catch you later.
Thank you so much for tuning into Unravel with Natly Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.